In today's video, I want to talk about Stripe 6.0 and some major changes that are coming to some Stripe users with Gravity Forms, and then also show you how to test your Stripe transactions, either doing failed transaction like we're going to show today with some of these updates, or if you want to just test payments on a staging site, what you have to do to get ready for that, right? So here's the form that we're going to be using. This is just a really basic Stripe form. The critical change that's coming to Stripe 6.0 is for anyone that's using the Stripe checkout field that is not the payment element field. So if you're somebody and your Stripe field looks like this, then this is probably going to apply to you. If you are using Stripe payment element, right now you can see the difference is it's a little bit more modern looking and it has the credit card logos right inside the card number field. You can also save those payments for one-click checkout in the future. Right now, it's not affecting anyone using the payment element. It's just for folks using the older payment fields. And what that will do is if there's a failed payment using this field, it will now show up in your Gravity Forms entries. So you can track and debug and understand like what happened with that transaction process. Okay, so that's the major change. So I'm just going to save this form. And I want to talk about testing this stuff out first, and then we'll test a transaction, have it fail, and then we'll see it show up in the entries. So let's go to Gravity Form settings and then Stripe. I have my Stripe account connected to this Gravity Form, and I have it set up in test mode right now. And in test mode, well, I can test Gravity Forms in Stripe. So if you've not known that, you can test transactions without it being on a production site. So if you've been spending $1 at every transaction so far just to test it, I have good news. You can just run a safe test here, which will simulate the purchase or the transaction with Stripe and Gravity Forms. So let's set it up so you can kind of see this all play out. I'm going to view the instructions. So the first thing you do is log into your Stripe account Workbench login. We create a new Webhook endpoint, and then we set it up and paste in the information that we need into our test signing secret key. So let's click this link right here. It's going to bring me into Stripe testing mode, and be sure that you see Stripe testing mode above. It has this orange sort of banner up top. It says test mode on the left. There is something called sandboxes, which you can see here to the right. It does not work with sandboxes, not yet anyway. That'll be a future update. So the endpoint URL that we want is right here. So I'm going to copy my endpoint URL. I'm going to paste that in there. I'm going to say this is just a test description. I'm going to leave this stuff default. I'm going to select events. I'm just going to select all events for right now, just to make it easy. Add the events, scroll back down, and then add this endpoint. So now once this endpoint is available for me, I'm going to reveal the secret key, which will be deleted after this video, and I'm going to paste that in to my testing key and then save that. Basically, I've now connected my test Stripe account to my test environment in Stripe and Gravity Forms so that I can try a failed process or any kind of like virtual transaction. So let's go to our form, and you'll see my form real quick. Again, just a standard Stripe test, quantity, name, checkout, and we'll populate that. So let's go ahead and do that. So 2, I don't even need to put my name in because it's not required. And now I'll fill in my credit card. Stripe, and I'll link this wherever you're watching this video. In the Stripe documentation, you can pull from a list of credit cards that will trigger in the system either a failed transaction attempt or a completed processed transaction event by using any of these virtual cards that you see right here. So they have all the different major brands that they support, countries, cards by countries, if you want to test certain things to happen when somebody signs up from a different country. But what we're going to do is focus on these declined payments so that you can see that show up in your Gravity Forms entry. So I'm just going to copy this credit card code, which is the generic decline, paste, come up with a date in the future, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we will submit that. Now this will go ahead and process. It's going to be a failed process, and we're going to see that show up. So it says your payment has failed. Please update your payment method and try again. Now that shows up for the front end user. But if we go to our forms, entries, Stripe test, right here. This is the failed payment that just appeared inside of our, well, on our form. And now we can see it right here and see that we did have a failed transaction. We can then match up this failed transaction ID into Stripe and help debug this, which allows you to get a little bit more insight into what's happening with failed transactions. Again, if you're not using the Stripe element at checkout. And that's the critical change moving forward in Stripe 6.0. So one more time, we'll just take a look at it. Stripe test, there it is, failed, is now going to show up inside of your entry. So get ready for that change. And as always, test out big, important add-ons like Stripe or other payment processors. We always put our beta add-ons inside of your Gravity Forms dashboard, and we email you and try to inform you through the podcast, YouTube channel, all of our social media accounts when these beta trials are opening so you can get ready for big changes like this. That's it for today's episode. Go ahead and thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you want more. Leave a comment below if you have any questions, and we'll see you in the next video.